So this is the first thing he did.
My wife arranged for me to be this thespian on stage. And so when we started, they started laughing. Everybody started laughing. So I ran to my wife. I ran on stage. I said, "Baby, what's going on? Is everything okay?" I didn't want the show to be a comedy. It turned out to be a comedy. It was supposed to be a hard, gritty show about a tough guy that made it through his toughness. And he just came up about me, just talking about myself, how much of a smuck I am. You know what I mean? And they loved it.
What a classic laugh.
First off, that laugh. That laugh. Acting. I think a lot of people, what was it? The first thing they knew him for was The Hangover?
The Hangover.
Yep.
So he, on his way back up, kind of like the comeback of Mike, 2009 comes around, and this was just 6 years after he had declared or filed for bankruptcy. Yep. And his appearance in The Hangover was a major hit. And that kind of struck multiple other appearances. So then he showed up again in The Hangover Part 2, and he's done multiple other projects, right? Entourage, How I Met Your Mother, Law and Order, Scary Movie, and was a part of that franchise. Yep. Even did some stuff in China, right? So like that acting gig really helped him to bounce back and climb up out of bankruptcy to where he kind of started building from a flat ground again.
Yep. And what he was talking about in the interview was based off his documentary. He hit Broadway. Like, he had a whole show on Broadway, right? What I did want to point out was something that he said where he was like, yo, I thought I was going to be this, gritty, mean guy. I was telling my life, I was trying to tell him that my dad left and people were laughing at me, right? I felt a certain kind of way, but people were laughing at me. So I thought it was one way. We made a shift and we turned it into a comedy. Your audience is going to tell you what they want from you. So mind you, Mike did not know exactly what to do after boxing. He didn't know how people would want to take his content, take his ventures or anything like that. The fact that people were still receiving him in a entertaining way, maybe not the entertaining way that he knew, but they found some kind of light and humor out of him. He capitalized on that. You know what? If y'all think I'm this funny guy, I'm gonna be this funny guy, right? Because I don't know what else to do right now. My wife said we're gonna hit Broadway. They took that nationwide, and then they took it all over the world, based off what their audience wants. So I would say, as a mini lesson, is listen to your audience. This is what they want from you. Okay? Don't do only what you think it is. If he would have kept with I thought it was going to be a fear, like, gritty guy. This is a documentary about my life and this is serious and it's a serious situation, it probably wouldn't have sold. It probably wouldn't have sold at all. But he actually made a good amount of money making it a comedy, turning something negative into a positive. And that's what Mike did a lot after boxing. He took a negative into a positive. What do you think about that one, Moose?
Oh, major. I mean, you talk about sometimes we force ourselves into the wrong pockets or the wrong positions. And that could have been one of those moments, right? Had he forced himself to be like, think of, just because we're in the industry with speakers and consultants, think of the people who forced themselves to look up to, let's say, an ET, and they feel in their mind that's the only way they can speak. That's just how they got to do it. That's the best way to come up to the top. Yep. And then they don't really recognize what's the disconnect between me, my message, and my audience. Well, your audience doesn't see you in that light. So a big part of self-awareness is the definition that we've been trying to really highlight and bring attention to nowadays. It's that it's multifaceted. It's how you see yourself and how you understand yourself in terms of your talents, your preferences, things of that nature. But it's also how people in the world see you. And the further the gap between how you see yourself and how people receive you, the more resistance there is going to be on your path on the way to success.
Right.
There has to be more of an alignment, something that kind of soothes it out, where people start to see you the same way you see yourself, because now you're intentional in giving them more of what they want. Now you could think of, oh, well, that's me being a people pleaser. And that's the furthest thing from the truth, because a big part of what we reward people for is their desire to serve others, right? Like that servanthood. And that's really what it is, even at the entertainment level, right? People want to laugh, so they go to see comedians who can help them deliver on that, right? People want to be entertained, so they go to watch movies with people who know how to maybe make action movies and things of that nature that give them the thing that they wanted. So I think it's a super strategic move. But again, it shows one of Mike's blind spots, or call it a gift. Again, it's one of those debatable things,
right?
Because if you hear him in the interview, he says he ran backstage to his wife and said, hey, am I doing anything wrong? Like, is this, everything is all right? Right. Still looking for that approval. And
no, she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
Yeah. No, so I wanted to address somebody, because somebody said, so hopefully he made more than $50K. With 10 performances, it has been reported that it was over $1 million of gross. Okay. This is him just telling his story and receiving what the audience said and making adjustments.